walk among us, not as metal and bits of plastic, but men filled with metal and bits of plastic. Sensitive information, the most valuable asset in the future, is moved from location to location by overpaid men in suits, despite the advancements of future internet. Transferring data is not something you can do, I guess. The world suffers from a deadly virus, the Black Shakes, as the government does nothing. Class is now not only determined by wealth, but whether or not you choose to augment your body. Become better by installing upgrades that follow incredibly loose technological rules. Also, hookers cost $10,000 a night. I mean, what? Welcome to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today and the past future world of Robert Longo's Johnny Mnemonic.
Welcome to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today, the podcast all about movies whose futures have passed. I am one of your hosts, Joey Reinish.
I'm Kyle McVeigh.
And with us in the studio, we have special guest, Chris McCaleb.
Hi, I'm Robert Longo, the director of Johnny Mnemonic.
What a get!
Longo!
I will say that it was, when I put that in the rundown, I was like, we usually mention the director, but
Who is that?
he's like, this is the only movie he ever directed. He came from like music videos, mostly REM stuff. And then he made this movie, and rightfully so, he just went away.
So he started with an earthquake, and then Birds and Snakes and Johnny Mnemonic.
Uh-huh.
And then he never made another movie.
Yep.
It reminds me, when I saw the movie Apollo 13 in theaters,
Yes, of course.
they showed a trailer for the original Space Jam.
Yeah.
And it gets to the end of that trailer, and it goes, directed by Joe Pytka. And then, it goes silent in between trailers. And I remember somebody in the theater going, Joe Pytka? Which was like, that's the thing, that's what all of us were thinking. And he's apparently a legendary commercial director, the biggest commercial director of all time. But it's not like directed by Steven Spielberg, where you're like, oh, Spielberg, great.
It's tough to make that
Joe
jump
Pytka.
from like music videos and commercials to film. It's a really tough jump to make. Like very few. Bay?
Yeah, Bay,
Who,
Fincher.
McGee?
Fincher,
was he
for
like
sure. Fincher was
Fincher?
a music video guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Daniels of music video people?
They have done them, but I think they did them
Short
after
films.
they had done, had
The
some
movie about the
success.
horse.
Yeah,
Bang-
after
the
they
guy
had done the
banging a
horse, the guy
horse.
getting paid by a horse. Yeah.
You know
after
who
they
did
done
it
that.
with very, very questionable success? Longo!
Bringing us back.
questionable.
It's good to have Chris here to keep us on task.
Thank God.
1995, 4 years before The Matrix.
Which is crazy that Keanu does two movies so close together where he has a jack in the back of his head.
That's what I wondered. Did the Wachowskis cast him because they thought he actually had that jack in the back of his head? They're like, this is perfect.
This guy looks great plugging in.
We don't have to install anything. It's
Yeah,
already
we're going to save money on makeup.
written by William Gibson, who is also the author of the short story. Maybe stick to those.
I mean, his short stories have turned into some of the most incredible movies.
Yeah.
And yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this is we tend to not like bag on movies the entire time, but I
No.
just
What?
watching this.
Listen, I think this is a fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
Just because wild swings.
Oh,
Constantly.
sure.
Big
Constant wild swings.
Sure.
But my question last
Yeah.
night, as I finished the last 50 minutes half awake, was
Good.
did they intentionally cast non-actors to surround Keanu? Because we got Henry Rollins.
Yeah.
We got Ice-T.
Yeah.
We got Deanna whatever.
You got that other guy doing an Ice-T impression who's dressed like he's in Cats.
Forgot about that. The only
and
Dolph
Dolph,
for no reason.
Dolph is turning in a performance,
Dolph-
though.
Yeah,
I think
Dolph
he's
talking about taking big swings. So Dolph was going for it.
I literally said out loud to Kim, who couldn't have cared less, this is the best acting Dolph has ever done.
I have a question. Is Dolph's full name Adolf? And he goes by Dolph
I don't
because
know.
we
You
can't
know-
use that name anymore.
I don't know, but great pivot if he did.
Yikes.
He's.
Well, I mean, look at him, so maybe.
once again, I have to
probably.
point out as I always do whenever Dolph Lundgren is brought up, the man is an actual genius. He is a scientist with multiple degrees in like chemistry and engineering.
Look, we can all buy a degree.
He's a Taekwondo world champion. There's literally, he could sing, he can dance. There's literally a clip online. I encourage everyone to look up where he was hosting some foreign award show where he sings A Little Less Conversation while breaking boards and then does a drum solo. Like, it's the fucking best.
It's all that talent does not equate to success in all those.
He went to
avenues.
MIT.
Dolph does not have to work that hard. Why is
He
he?
doesn't.
He seems so thirsty.
He's a quintuple threat.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
By far the most interesting performance in the movie.
Yeah.
is Dolph is really doing, like, I love that high religion robotic man like that is a cool
that was
thing.
cool.
But just the way he like ejaculates every line where he's just like
My thing was that I really wish, because they call it the Church of the Re-Transfiguration, which they never really get into it, but I guess I was sort of extrapolating that as like he believes in like the rebirth of the flesh through augmentation, because it's the Re-Transfiguration. It's just
good.
like, it's the best thing of cyberpunk, where you say one little line and it implies a fuck ton of other things, which is fun.
Didn't William Gibson invent the term cyberpunk?
He might have.
Or
Stevenson?
Cyberspace. I think he created cyberspace.
Stevenson created
or maybe
one of them.
because maybe it was
Metaverse,
Snow Crash.
like,
He invented Matrix.
And Metaverse.
Oh, okay.
And Gibson.
And Gibson.
He invented the drink.
I will say that William Gibson did Neuromancer, which is like one of the like iconic cyberpunk books. He also, fun fact, which
That wasn't Stevenson?
No, you're thinking Snow Crash.
Ah, yes.
But he also wrote the original screenplay for Alien 3 that never got made.
Oh.
But
That is a fun fact.
But it has now been made as both a podcast and a comic book, and I highly recommend it because
that's cool.
it's pretty cool.
What's the podcast? Let's plug them.
It's Alien. It's like
Alien
a
3.
it's like a scripted. It's like an audio play. like playing out in episodes.
Just made it Alien, but it's not 3 anymore.
But the comic book is great too. So
Interesting.
you can get a hold of it.
It's probably better than this.
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Can you turn my headphones down just one more notch, please?
Not
So loud.
Testing.
Testes.
That's
better.
Testes.
Okay, so this is a really deep cut, and I kept not telling you guys intentionally until the show started.
Okay.
But it's such a non-important thing for this show in particular.
Yes.
In my mind,
Yeah.
there's one thing that I always think of when I think of Johnny Mnemonic, and it's a joke from Third Rock from the Sun, where what's his name? Stewart, the guy whose eyes are always half open.
French Stewart.
Yeah. He worked at a video store briefly.
Mm-hmm.
And someone or like the family comes in to see him at work, and the video store is really empty, but he keeps trying to get them to rent Johnny Mnemonic. But we have 5 copies of Johnny Mnemonic. And he would always pitch it like that, like stop and go, Johnny Mnemonic. And with the orange VHS cassette, which was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I do remember the
see-through
cassette
cover.
Yeah.
Where you could see the orange tape in his forehead.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good.
Well, as you brought it up, it was like Nickelodeon movies and then this movie were the only ones with bright orange cassette tapes.
Well, you don't remember that, so when I said that in the email to you, you're probably like, "What the fuck is he talking about?"
You're assuming I ever read any emails.
That's a good
true.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, "We'll watch the orange VHS movie and do da 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 da." It's probably just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, all right. Another Joey reference that I don't get.
Hey, real quick, you guys got any nose torque up in here?
We don't actually.
We don't.
It's for the best.
We had to stop.
We stopped because it stopped smelling.
We had to stop
Yeah.
because it was burning out my sinuses.
Didn't you get another one? Didn't you like get a refresh on it?
No, I never did.
Okay,
No,
you had
no.
talked about it.
We just keep
talked about
talking
it.
about it.
But-
We almost got a different brand, but then there was a review of it that was like, it will fuck you up.
Didn't you get that when we were working on Lodge 49 and
It
you
filled
got
my
it?
car.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't think I can get in my car right now. I can't drive home.
You get delivered a box that you know has nose torque in it, and it's in your car, and you're like, oh, I want to see what this smells like before I go to work. And I open it, I'm like, oh, it smells like ammonia. And then I close it up, put it back in the box, put it in the center console, and then get in my car after like 12 hours.
Yeah.
And it's just my entire
You let it
car.
cook
Yeah.
for 12 hours.
Yeah,
Good
it
call.
was not good.
No.
Don't buy nose torque.
He was definitely alive, alert, awake during that drive home.
Ready to live.
I don't remember how I got home.
No, of course not.
So back to the movie. The synopsis is Johnny, played by Keanu Reeves, is a data courier. This is a person who will move data back and forth for a fee, supposedly a very high fee.
Yeah.
In this latest job, I'm kind of paraphrasing Kyle's right up here.
Of course.
Latest job unknowingly carries the cure for the global pandemic, and everyone wants it. So there is a disease going around called the Black Shakes.
Yeah.
Which everyone seems to have of questionable origin.
Nerve attenuation syndrome.
Right.
Yeah,
NAS.
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 Nos Queen.
Nos Queen. She's shaking. Nos Queen.
Deanna is doing some good
Dina.
Dina. You can just call her Diz.
Diz
It's
is
fine.
doing
Dina
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she'll respond to Diz.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever. She'll respond to pretty much anything, I guess. She's
Anyway, just
Yeah.
stoked to be talked to.
yeah,
Just
very
happy to be
excited.
spoken to.
She was in a movie that we watched called The Evil Within.
Mhm.
That was like
Yeah.
this passion project movie that took like 15 years to be made.
Yeah.
It's something else.
Like Dangerous Men? That kind of passion project?
crazier though.
Yeah.
Whoa.
This
Like-
was like someone that was like a Hearst or
A
someone
Hearst.
very
And then he-
eccentrically
Okay.
rich did
And then
this.
he made this movie and then died of a drug overdose.
Whoa.
And she's in it as like kind of the only big name that I recognize.
Yeah.
It's wild. She's had an interesting career pre-post Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Your definition of big name is really
I'm saying.
well, for
Relatively.
us, for us,
Longo.
big name, Longo.
Longo.
So Diz, why did I even bring her up? I just was like, I know I
Well, you were talking about the Nas, which she has in this
she's
movie.
doing some good seizure
Yeah.
acting.
Yeah, which I could
And the
never
Black
really.
Shakes.
The Black Shakes were confusing to me because they never really lock in on what it is.
Nope.
And then they never really lock in on what causes it, except I think it's a riff on just kind of the theory everyone has where like, I don't want to have my cell phone in my pocket because it's going to give me dick cancer or like something like that,
Well,
you know?
see, I think it's what it does to our brains.
Yeah.
I think it's like data overload, which in some ways they're not wrong.
Yes.
There's way too much fucking data. This fuck can we curse on this podcast?
Yeah, of course. Curse
The
as much as you
scroll,
want.
the endless scrolling.
Yeah.
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 Not unlike the endless scroll at the beginning of the fucking movie. We're like, oh, well, more information.
You can't learn that through action, okay? You got to let it know.
Before we
need
get into
that
this
much
tale,
setup.
Yeah, we
Sorry.
gotta set the ground rules
Sorry.
before we get into this.
What?
Fair enough.
No, I just mean like that's what all that scroll was.
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty
you
much.
You can't understand this movie until we tell you.
There's a lot.
Oh man.
But yeah, the Black Shakes is like a thing where, yeah, I think you're right. They're kind of like, it's data overload. So that makes it kind of wish-washy where it's like kind of almost a holistic problem that's like
Yeah.
physically manifesting in
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
or it's Wi-Fi cancer.
Or,
One or the other.
Yeah, or does it have something to do with all the body modifications?
Well,
or
that's-
is it drugs?
I
Like,
think they
it's too
kind
many
of
things.
say different things where I think they're like, some people think it's the body mods or like,
But Spider, who gave Diz her body mods,
Yeah.
yeah, my work is clean. It's like it's not my stuff.
so maybe it can
But it's Henry
be,
Rollins, so I don't know
maybe
how
it
much I
can be
trust him.
caused by that. But it's also like half the population has it in the future. And
Yeah.
it gives you seizures,
Seizures, and then you get weak and die eventually.
I guess, and then eventually you're bedridden and you go to hell.
Yeah,
Go to
cyber
hell.
Yeah, automatically.
Oh no.
It's one of those types of
I
diseases.
knew it was
yeah.
coming.
It's a bummer.
It's an eventuality.
Yeah.
For all
So
of us.
Johnny in his head has been hired to carry some stolen pharmaceutical data that I guess has the cure for the
Yeah.
Black Shakes. That he doesn't know what it is.
Yeah. That's
but
the turn.
the Pharmacom, that's the name of the company, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
Pharmacon.
Want
Incredible creative name for a company.
I love it.
they make more money treating it than curing it, so they
Yeah.
don't want this out. And people had defected, stole this information, and now Johnny's on the run
Yeah.
because lots of bad guys want to kill Johnny for various reasons.
Yeah.
And
All
that
in
is the
different
rest of the
ways,
movie.
which I respect. They all have their own
Absolutely.
kind of things. Some of them want to cut off his head and freeze it. Some of them just want
Right.
to straight up murder him.
But all of them eventually run into each other like dominoes, killing the one in front of them.
Yeah.
So until all the bad guys take care of each other, and then
Yeah.
Johnny takes care of the last one.
Yeah.
But let's talk about a little bit my favorite part of the movie, which is the data loading.
Yes.
How you become a carrier is not necessarily important in this movie, but
No.
Johnny on the way upstairs to the location of his new clients
Yeah.
installs a software mod, which is a space doubler
For his head hard drive.
for his
Yeah.
head hard drive of
his
80
wet wire.
gigabytes.
His wet wire hard drive. or
Wetware
whatever.
is one of the
What-
coolest
It's
phrases.
so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I
it
liked
doesn't
I
mean
liked it a lot.
anything.
It's so like just the phrase of it, and like I'm just like, oh yeah, that's like some fucking gnarly sci-fi
Yeah,
bullshit. I love Wetware.
I mean, this
would-
whole sequence that you're about to describe is like the best part of cyberpunk in general, which is like, yes, doodads, complicated processes and doodads.
Did
I
you
don't
guys-
know what any of it means.
When you were kids, did you used to take electronics apart and put them back together as like things?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a
Mhm.
network descrambler or
Yeah,
whatever. It's
absolutely.
just a bunch of circuit boards.
it's a broken remote control.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
yes,
guys,
exactly.
I never got that deep. I would just take the batteries out of them, and that was my deconstructing. Maybe the faceplate comes off. I wouldn't get it. I couldn't possibly
It's almost
actually
like-
break it. My
it's like
dad
a-
would be so mad.
Take a Discman apart and turn it into a spaceship.
I love that.
Yeah,
You-
I was a lonely kid.
I-
Had a lot of time on my hands.
and then I got rid of my Discman, and I was more lonely.
yeah. I was just sitting in silence by myself.
But you had a spaceship, which is pretty
That's
dope.
true.
Good for you.
So it's one of the best parts about it. It kind of reminds me of Mr. Vampire, which is a really deep cut of like occult mixed with like Asian religion
Mhm.
and stuff, where there's very specific things you have to do,
Yeah.
and it's all very intentional, but
Yeah.
none of it makes any sense.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the cyberpunk version of that, where Johnny comes in with a suitcase. He's like very professional, like,
Yeah.
all right, let's do this. Sets it down his suitcase, like, opens it up, and he just keeps bringing stuff out.
They're like all these gadgets that are hidden in things, like in a cigarette case or like things like that.
It's stuff to enable a data upload and transfer, but not be able to be extracted without a passphrase. And
Yes.
while Johnny is going through all this stuff, because it feels like it's unsafe, there's guns everywhere, and like these people are very jumpy.
Yeah.
So he's like, let's get this done and get out of here. And as Johnny is setting up all this stuff,
Yeah.
he's handing a remote to the guy. He's like, okay, 3 different images on the TV, and that'll be the passcode. And he keeps setting up stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm still in my head, I'm back with that guy being like, what the fuck does that mean? What do I need to do?
Yeah.
What do I push
Now?
it now?
Yeah.
Like,
Now?
What do
Yeah, I need more setup, man.
Yeah.
Help.
yeah.
I've never done this before in the
Yeah.
wild.
So it's one of my favorite things in future movies, tiny CDs.
It's the
Yeah.
best.
That
It's
is-
the best.
How, how about an over reliance on fax machines?
I was just gonna bring that up.
Unbelievable.
It's like my favorite future tech, tiny CDs next to tiny fax machine.
Yes.
Like I love movies that are
Fax
like, it's the
machines.
future. We'll have the same shit, but tinier.
Yes, it's all small.
All of the data from this pharmacy company is, and the CD reader is so dope too, because it
Yeah.
like
It only half encloses it.
half
It's the
encloses
best.
the disc.
You can see it spinning.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
so
shit.
cool. And then they have the fax machine that seems specifically designed for faxing the codes that the thing prints out.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's like
The photo booth prints of
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
cartoons.
pictures of the TV, like any channel, just like push it, and that'll be our security
Yeah.
download code or whatever.
yeah.
So Keanu, Johnny ingests all this data, which is, turns out, almost double his doubled brain amount,
Yes.
which luckily we learned in the scene before
Yes.
you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Can I give you some yesterday's today information?
Yes, you may.
Please.
So in 1994, 95, when
Yeah.
this movie was being made and released, I was in high school,
Yeah.
and somehow somebody had convinced, like whoever ran the computer department,
Yeah.
to get an avid media composer.
What?
Like early days, an avid media composer is what we use to edit,
Yeah.
movies and TV shows, and for the audience. And
Whoa, what?
the drives,
Me?
the drives that they had were so fucking big. They were like for the patrons.
Yeah.
They were like,
Well, this
I'm-
the video
I'm-
will be available. To anyone.
Yeah, they're huge. And this isn't just for the and then I'm out of here. No, the and they cost
Holy
$10,000
shit.
for 4 gigabyte hard drive.
Wow.
No.
4 gigabyte. So think about how much was going on up in Keanu.
So
that
it-
was an expensive.
it
head,
did
is what
seem
I'm saying.
crazy at the time. It's just funny with movies like these how they like never anticipate how fast things
Yes.
will progress.
Yes.
And it's like, wow, okay. Like if it was now, you'd be like, minimum a terabyte.
Yeah.
Minimum, bud.
I feel like when
Oh,
this came
At
out,
least.
within like 5 years, I had an iPod as big as Johnny's
Mhm.
initial head size.
Yeah.
Like my iPod was 80 gigs, and then he installs the software doubler. First, neat
Well,
trick.
It's the same thing of like you said in the intro, which is like my first thing where I was like, okay, so no one anticipated flash sticks or
No.
Dropbox.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay.
Or flat screen televisions. You see this all over
Yeah.
the like past movies.
Yes.
That like nobody thought beyond the CRT, the
No.
like glass
Pinnacle.
cathode ray tube.
They've figured it out. We not only are all in on CRT, we're gonna
Yeah.
make pillars full of nothing but CRT.
Yes,
I
wow.
guess for
That
no
was-
reason.
that
I
was
did
cool.
like that though. That's a cool
It's a
shot at
great
the end.
set
Very
piece.
cool.
Yeah.
But
It reminded me of Captain EO for some reason. That like giant like thing that the person Captain EO was a
yeah.
an attraction at
For the
Disneyland.
kids.
It stars. It was written and produced by George Lucas and directed by Francis Ford Coppola, starring Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was a singer.
Yes.
and noted pedophile.
Yes.
Michael Jackson.
Allegedly.
noted alleged child rapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can
Is this
take your whole
pertinent?
family to Epcot
Yeah,
and see him
Disneyland is
in
a great
space.
time.
I did get to see it before they took it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It was
also
good. It was
saw
awesome.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I also
fucking
saw.
wild.
I mean, it's a ton of Muppets, right? I think there's a bunch of like Jim Henson
Oh, yeah.
stuff in it too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
Fuzzball.
There was like a behind the scenes thing for it playing
Yeah.
in like the lobby or whatever. And like,
Mhm.
man, they thought this was gonna be big.
yeah, it was big.
well, it was big.
But,
What are you
like-
thinking?
Star Wars big.
And then they replaced it with Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
What was it? Wasn't there like a spiritual successor that was a movie for Captain EO?
I don't think so.
I
No,
thought that-
You talking about Michael Jackson's Moonwalker?
Maybe I am.
I fucking
maybe.
love Moonwalker. I think about
Yeesh.
Moonwalker all the time.
I mean, if that's going to
he
be
turns
on this
into a
podcast.
car,
What?
doesn't he?
yeah, yeah, it's
It's-
bonkers.
I saw it at the perfect age
Yes,
for that
for
entire
sure.
thing to be seared into my brain forever. It's
good
Bob
stuff.
Hoskins versus Michael Jackson as a car.
Mario versus Cario Jackson.
Yeah, Mario and Cario.
Cario Jackson.
What's happening?
Very topical with the release of the new Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
That's right. For our data or for our search engine optimization. Mario,
Yes.
Mario.
There's a ton of. We're living in a great time because there's a ton of theaters in LA playing that original movie right now.
Good call.
Really?
Yeah. I just missed a screening on Friday that I desperately wanted to go to. That was sold out.
That's a terrible movie.
But seeing that with a crowd
Yes,
would be
yeah, drunk, like drunk,
Ooh,
Yeah,
yes.
drunk, and
Like a
and
Dangerous Men level screening
Yeah,
of that. It's
absolutely.
good.
boom, 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 boom.
That's
That's for
Chris-
the
Chris is
Dangerous
doing Dangerous
Men
Men.
heads out there.
what they call
Where
it.
my men heads at?
Where my fellow peppers. That's a good movie.
Policeman, police. That's it. All right.
I
I'll stop
love
talking
it.
about Dangerous
Policeman Police is great. I'm also a min head, but Alex Garland. I just love any movie that has a 5 to 10 minute sequence of a man constantly rebirthing himself,
Out of his
I'm there
mouth, yeah.
every time.
Have you seen
Every
Men?
time.
No.
Don't see Men.
You should
Anyway.
watch the ending of Men.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
Highly
Johnny
recommend.
Mnemonic gets all the data in his head, and then it is immediately interrupted by the Yakuza, who in this world are sort of hired enforcers by Farmcom. They've embraced them
Yeah.
as the muscle and beat Takashi just all of a sudden. That's
Yeah.
beat Takashi, right?
Wait, I'm sorry? Who?
The main Yakuza guy who talks to the
The director?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it is. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's him. That was like, I also was like trying to figure out why I recognized him. And I was like, oh, just because he's
Yeah, Battle Royale.
directed about in Battle Royale. Yes.
Oh, man.
And he's great. He's
Good.
adding definitely a gravitas to this movie that no one else is bringing, like at all.
Yeah. He's weirdly, when I looked it up, I was like, I
Yeah.
think that's him.
Yeah.
But I was like, making sure I'm not doing a racism. I'm
Yeah,
gonna look it
you
up.
were not. You were not doing
And-
the racism.
His whole thing is like he's a comedian, but the only things that I know him from, he's like hyper
Deadly
serious
serious.
and like
Yeah.
really scary.
Yeah.
So I want to see him as a comedian. But anyway, he's just like a Yakuza enforcer.
Well, I think he's actually Pharmacon.
Oh, is he?
Or
yeah,
is-
yeah.
yeah.
You talking about the guy who runs Pharmacom?
Yeah. I
guy
think
he
he's
talks
Pharmacon.
The guy who like Hunt for Red October style. They were like, "Your Japanese is terrible. Speak to me in English."
Yes. I love
like,
that.
Amazing.
Yes, so good. I mean, like, so obviously this posits a regular, your run of the mill like cyberpunk future where it is. I found the actual name for this. It's a corporatocracy. That is the
I was wondering if
official
you made
name
that
of
up.
that. No. I looked
Okay.
it up, but that is like what
kinda what we
usually
live in.
it's.
It's a lot like what we live in.
You know, I didn't want to say it.
I didn't want to upset the corporate overlords.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here to bring those truth bombs.
we were too afraid to say it
Yeah.
because our corporate masters would shut us down. But yeah, we're living in that that cyberpunk future that basically all of it is things are run by the government is basically run by corporations, and it's about hackers and regular people versus these giant corporate interests.
What's the word they have for not via or not enhanced people?
Oh, low techs.
Low techs.
Yeah,
techs.
low tech.
Which is great.
Get it?
Yeah.
Low tech.
But I think there's a lot of different groups but they're like the main group that are opposing them.
normies.
But that's like the weird thing that was, so all these big corporations hire, I guess, just specifically the Yakuza as
I think so. Because
they're like enforcers and bodyguards. Well, it's in the scroll at the beginning, right? Where they name check the
Yeah,
Yakuza.
the Yakuza is who they hired.
Which
now.
is like kind of, I guess the Yakuza went international, which is pretty dope. I guess they're probably already
They're
international.
franchising,
But
yeah.
they're franchising out. But yeah, it's
and they're scary.
are they?
They can be.
Thumb lasso scary.
Thumb lasso is a great future
Oh,
tech.
are you talking about the laser dental floss?
Yes, absolutely.
That turns into a laser whip?
Yes.
I gotta get that.
Yeah.
That is fucking
Yeah,
cool.
it's
That is
great.
some cool tech.
This
the
is future
future.
tech corner to
Yeah.
go with our tiny CD data
Yeah.
Oh,
implant.
yeah.
Is the only problem I have with thumb lasso.
Yeah.
It looks real dumb when it's
Oh,
put in.
It also clearly has a dumber story where they kind of imply that he was punished and got his thumb cut off.
right.
And then so he was like, I'll get a new cyber thumb with laser floss.
but like
Yeah, I definitely need that laser floss for sure. Don't try to floss with that.
Don't you
will
dare.
not have teeth anymore.
the way it works,
Apparently.
right? And I'm pretty sure it is like you pull the thumbnail, right?
Mhm.
I
and then
guess. Yeah.
Attached between the thumb and the thumbnail is the floss.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a horrible visual of like peeling off your thumb.
Yeah.
it's
That is
gross.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that thing is awesomely dangerous.
Yeah.
But you're also leaving out you're skipping right past all the guns that those people have, which appear to just be like flashing lights at the front of the gun. Like, did you guys ever have Captain Power toys?
Yes.
That's how Captain Power interacted
Yeah.
with the television. Is there'd be these flashing lights, and you would, the TV could shoot you, and you
I
could
don't
shoot the
remember
TV.
this.
Yeah.
Captain Power. Yeah,
Yeah, I had
good
one of
stuff.
those. I do remember. I also noticed a cool thing about those guns. A cool thing about those guns
Whoa.
is like I think almost all the guns in this are that base model pistol, just with a bunch of shit. So they're like these hyper customizable guns
Yeah,
that
Johnny-
like because
you
there's
see
a
Johnny
couple
take 'em
times where
apart.
they take them apart, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah, there's one gun.
There's one gun.
Yeah.
One universal gun.
Yeah,
See? We could outlaw AR-15s and we could still just have the one gun.
and then you put
And then
the
you make all
AR-15 attachment
Yeah.
on it. Yeah,
That's fine. Who cares?
it does look really like unfinished without the attachments though.
It does, yeah.
Because Johnny gets one and
Which
takes,
I kind of like.
why was it a reason he took all the cool stuff off it?
Well, it's just heavy.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Because like he's
Oh,
outside, he's like, chun, chun, chun.
Yeah.
It's like thousands of dollars of attachments, and he's just got like the stick.
It's
with
all
it.
it's efficiency.
He doesn't
I don't
like
know
all
if you've
the-
seen John Wick 4,
I have.
Yeah.
when they finally figured they really the evolution of figuring out how to use Keanu as just one word increments.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say,
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Let his body speak.
I will
Yes.
say in this, when he does flip out because he's so mad,
He
it's
is
some of his best work.
he does do a good
made
flip
me
out.
laugh out loud.
It's so good.
He does a good flip out. I don't know.
It's
He's
because it's like he's so Keanu the rest of the movie, and then at the end he's just like, "I just want a $10,000 hooker," and he's just so pissed about not
and
having-
room service.
and room service
Yeah,
and a nice
I agree.
hotel and to be in
Yeah.
Shanghai or wherever. Yeah,
he is a guy that like his career has really benefited from like a generation of people growing up watching him and like having this weird inherent understanding of what he can do
right.
and weaponizing him
Yeah.
in like in his resurgence of like the last decade.
Yes.
Everyone's like, yeah, you know who he's good at? Bill and Ted. Put him in it. Make a new Bill and Ted movie. That'd be fun.
He is good in Bill and
He's
Ted.
very good at
That-
Bill and
that-
Ted.
And John Wick.
Yeah,
yeah, and well, I'm
That guy can murder like nobody's
he's
business.
amazing.
He is the mass murderer of all time. I mean, not just
yeah.
our time, all time.
Yeah,
He's like a serial killer.
I think
It's insane.
he's definitely killed the most people on screen.
It's crazy.
Probably
Yeah.
like realistically. I don't know what the
He's,
numbers are. I used to have the numbers for the first couple John Wick
It's
movies.
madness.
I think in John Wick 4, his vampire-ness is finally starting to fade.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, you can't move.
I think
Like,
they do
he's-
play it pretty good though a couple times where he's like, I'm feeling old and my body is broken
He's
in this
almost
movie.
60.
I know.
Fuck,
It's
man.
give the man a break.
I
He
guess.
just like don't
Yeah,
make
Joey.
him
I couldn't
Give him
do
a
any of
break.
that stuff
yeah,
now.
asshole.
Ever.
Yeah.
I couldn't do any of it.
I just mean even just the studios like just don't make another one.
Yeah,
just be
seriously.
done.
You
Let him
can't-
live.
You cannot make any more. Of those
He
movies.
there's no way he could do it.
No,
Because he
it'll
also
kill him.
did like he's had this whole run of 4 John Wick movies back to back, and then a Matrix movie crammed in there
Which
somewhere.
I still haven't
Which
seen.
did not have that
same.
many.
I never saw it either.
Yeah.
It looked terrible.
I liked it.
Oh.
You're the
I kinda
only
liked
positive
it.
I've heard.
I'll be
take.
honest. There's not. Just don't expect. It's not like a Matrix movie like it is. There's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
any really amazing fight scenes. It's.
just the weird heavy stuff.
I just didn't really like. It's super meta in a way that you're either gonna be like, I don't know, this kind of works, and it kind of worked for me surprisingly, or you will be like, this is garbage.
Okay.
This is so on the nose that it's garbage.
Is The Matrix a sequel to this movie? He's got the suit. He's got the plug. He's got data in his head.
This is proto
jacked
Matrix.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely.
Did
the
they steal the
Wachowskis-
Matrix from this movie?
They stole
And
it from
Keanu?
a bunch of places.
But the
didn't they?
Wachowskis definitely said that they got the Matrix from William Gibson books, like the phrase,
Yeah.
and that whole thing. And yeah, I think it's just like
They
there
got
was
Keanu from a William Gibson movie.
you got him from a movie. I mean, definitely, right? Like they got him. They definitely saw this movie, and they could only think of him being in that movie,
Yeah, he's
right?
kind of a robot.
Yeah. Yeah, he just kind of works.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's also only so much cyberpunk literature and media to like ingest at that time. So like if you were inspired by that, you were inspired by like the same 10 things, right? So I think you're just gonna have these
The
similarities.
cyberpunk lexicon is only so big.
Have you guys seen Strange Days?
No.
No.
You should add that to your list.
Really?
That's 99, right?
I'll come back.
Season 2, Strange Days.
Nobody asked me to, but I'm back, bitches.
Also, we're watching Strange Days.
How did you guys? Strange Days. Is awesome.
I can't believe I haven't seen that.
No,
know,
you
yeah.
don't watch it with your kids
Okay.
or your wife.
Or anyone.
Yeah,
Don't
okay.
watch it.
Watch it alone.
Wait for me.
Watch
I'll
it
come- I'll come
alone
over.
in the dark.
So I guess the Johnny data load will take us directly into body mods, which are a pretty prevalent cyberpunk
Yeah.
thing and very prevalent in this movie to varying degrees.
Well, we don't really see them. I feel like a lot of they're like Diz Jane
has a bunch.
is supposedly has a bunch, but as far as I can tell, her only body mod is that she can wear a chainmail shirt without twisting her nips off. So she must have got metal nips, I guess.
I don't know if I would have focused on it as hard
Yeah.
if you hadn't have brought that up before I watched this again.
Yeah.
But the entire time I was thinking that's got to be so uncomfortable.
Well, the whole time I was like, she's got to have a shirt underneath that. And then they go to Spiders, and she like clearly doesn't have anything underneath the chainmail. And I was like, how?
Very uncomfortable.
I mean, it's probably not chainmail. It's
Also,
kind of,
I like that you keep saying Spider like that's a normal name that people have. Hey, go to Spiders. You know, Spider said.
Spider.
Dr. Spider.
Yeah,
Dr. Spider Rollins. He's my favorite. He's my GB.
There's something about how bad he is at acting in this that kind of works for me.
Oh, he feels like a real guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He feels like a guy, and it just kind of works, I guess. Like yeah, it's not a good performance.
No, but they
He's
gave
just
him
being
glasses, and you're like, I believe him.
You know what?
Yeah.
He does look smart. I agree.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Put glasses on anybody, they look smart.
But it's also like one of those cyberpunk things that I really like of going to like the mechanic
Yes.
who's half doctor, half mechanic.
Yeah.
Who knows and
All Rollins.
Yeah.
that's the tagline.
Spider.
Half
Spider.
doctor, half mechanic. Oh,
Doctor.
full Rollins.
Dr. Spider.
Yeah. Where it's the data loading all over again, where it's all this very specific stuff, and they're
Yeah.
doing it, and you're like, yes, he's got to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, leave him alone.
Yeah.
But it's a mix of surgery and the technical plugs and all this stuff
Yeah.
that none of it makes any sense or tracks.
Yeah.
But that character is in almost every cyberpunk thing, who is like this very grungy, but apparently brilliant.
Someone got to be doing
Totally,
it.
totally.
My favorite version of that in all media is Minority Report, where he gets the new eyeballs. That's like my favorite version of that type of person. Like,
the mechanic doctor.
yeah, the mechanic doctor. Love that
Is
shit.
Minority Report also William Gibson, or is that's
I
the
think
other
iRobot.
guy?
I think that is a Philip K. Dick thing.
That's it.
I
Philip K.
think.
Dick's the other guy.
I'm pretty.
The
Yeah,
other
that's
guy I
the
was
other
thinking
dude.
of, yeah.
Yes. But
One of
yeah,
the five.
I love that. I love that about cyberpunk is that type of person. My only issue with it. My only issue.
The
with
only
this movie,
one.
The only issue with this movie is like they constantly, and I'm sure it's a budgetary thing where they're like, yeah, all these people got these body mods, and then you see like one robot arm, one robot thumb,
Yeah.
and then
Black dots.
a lot of dolphin mods, and that's it.
I mean, are we skipping ahead to the dolphin?
We can go to the dolphin if you guys
Is
want.
that dolphin a prisoner? Is that dolphin a slave?
My issue is
Does that dolphin give consent to be like strapped up and meow at the fucking?
He can barely move in his big old fish
It's-
tank.
yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
That's so upsetting.
And they
That
have not
poor
cleaned
dolphin,
that. They have not cleaned that tank
ever
for a while.
Not once.
No.
That dolphin is a fucking prisoner.
Yeah.
So part of the low techs have Jones. Is he a doctor?
He's their leader. No, I don't think they call him a doctor.
thought
no.
they did, but
you're thinking
yeah.
of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, maybe. Jones, the cybernetic dolphin,
Yeah.
hacker, genius, god thing.
He's like a naval experiment that he was like a code breaker. I think he also had like some sort of weird sonar that can
He's
like
a slave.
see. Yes, he's a slave. But he's the most technologically modded person in this entire
Mammal.
He's a mammal.
movie.
Yeah.
He's a mammal.
Yeah, good.
But
Oh,
he
that
like
fish.
yeah, he's got like metal eyes and like a metal brain. I don't know what he
And
has,
he
but
can
like
control, like, because they built, this is where we had the aforementioned giant TV pillar
yeah,
for no reason.
Yeah.
That's
But
cool.
there's like satellite things he can kind of control and shoot.
which has the murder radar, I think.
Yeah, sonar or like
Yeah.
some sort of vibrating air at people.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know how long it would have taken them to get the Jones deck together, but it feels like
Years.
for people that are low techs who are scrappy underdog thing,
Yeah.
like, that was decades.
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
That
work.
was so much work. for
How
them.
long do dolphins live?
Probably a while.
I guess a while.
That's a good question, though.
But like,
how long do dolphins?
I don't know, 20 years maybe?
I think it's way longer.
You think
I think
they live-
dolphins live hundreds of years.
You gotta fuck off with that. There's no way it's hundreds of years. I say they got a full 20. That's what I think.
Boom. 90 years an orca lives.
Fuck off.
That's an orca.
That's an
though.
orca.
Yeah, well, what do you
Striped
think
dolphin,
Jones
55
was?
to 60.
God damn, really? They live that
man,
long?
They live forever.
Okay, well, that
That's
works.
forever.
The timeline
Spotted
for a
dolphin.
dolphin? Yeah.
Spotted dolphin, 40 years. So we got like a relatively short human lifespan.
Yeah.
For a dolphin.
Yeah.
So Jones is old, really old at this point.
Well, you
probably.
can tell that he's kind of fucking over it for sure.
He's
Like,
way over
he's
it.
done being in this tank.
I
man.
can't move. It smells so
He's
bad.
fighting a war that I don't really
Has
know if
no
he has
stake in.
stake in it at all. Like
Consent.
he.
He's
Well-
a slave.
Well, this is the whole thing. He's never had consent his whole life, right? He was a naval
Or she.
experiment. Oh,
They
that's true. We don't know.
they are a prisoner.
Yeah, they're a prisoner.
In a war that he has nothing to do with.
No interest. If
Yeah.
he could just be in this ocean, living his life, like
Yeah.
that's it. Why do they have him? That's really upsetting.
It's awful. I was thinking the whole time. I was like, "This is terrible."
Do you know what? I suck so bad because I never at any point was like, "Oh, poor guy." I was like, "Yeah, he's
Not a
leading
guy.
this thing."
Dolphin.
Dolphin.
Can't
Oh,
do anything. Prisoner.
yeah, and I was like,
Encased in a glass, like in a fucking
and
aquarium.
I guess in my mind, I was like, "Well, the oceans are probably poisoned," but they never say that.
No.
Oceans are fine, probably.
Maybe.
I mean, they tell Jones they're poison.
Are they?
I don't know. They tell
oh
him.
yeah, don't go out there, Joe. You're much safer
Joe-
here, buddy.
Oh, bud, they're so gross.
Yeah.
You
Everyone's
think your
poopies
water's
in
bad that
that.
we never clean?
We'll
You
give you
think
3
this is
square
bad?
meals. We'll throw a bunch of whatever dolphins eat in there.
It is. It's not.
Hay? Do dolphins eat hay? What do dolphins eat?
Oh yeah, it's mostly
Other
hay.
dolphins?
Mostly hay.
Crickets, I think.
I mean,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Yeah.
Yuck.
I imagine he was getting a steady diet of rats. Would be my guess.
Don't you feel like, there are those animals that eat crickets or whatever?
Sure.
Do you think that they eat them because that's all we give them? Or do
Oh.
you think that they're like, I want something
Like-
other than crickets,
Like if you have a
please.
pet salamander,
Yeah,
like they're like,
fine. I know I need food, but
Yeah.
come on,
this
crickets
sucks.
again.
Just a little
You're
variety.
still they're making me eat
But the
crickets.
problem is
Yeah.
that I ain't touching other gross stuff, so you gotta
Yeah,
just
yeah.
deal with
I'm
it.
sure
bud.
they would take some fruit.
I've eaten crickets. I've had fried crickets.
I've had a cricket
Had scorpion before.
Which is better.
Scorpion.
Crickets, probably.
Yeah, is it just crunch and like nothing?
Yeah,
else?
it's fried fry. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like the
There's nothing
it's-
in it.
but there's like a little bit of like nast to it. Like there's
Yeah,
a little bit of
sure.
just like a
It's not
like
mental.
kind of an off
Yeah.
taste.
But you could Cheeto dust those things. You could flavor blast those guys, and they'd be
Flavor
good.
blasted
Yeah, you could do
crickets?
that. Have you never seen those? Those are the ones that I've had,
The
where
flavor
they're
blasted?
like basically like, here's a Cooler Ranch cricket. I'm like, yeah, this works for me. This isn't bad.
Did you say Cooler Ranch?
Cooler Ranch.
I
yeah.
love that you
Well, you
went.
can't- you
I went
can't.
that you went beyond Cool Ranch to Cooler Ranch.
Yeah.
These are extra Cool
We're not
Ranch.
getting sued.
We're in,
Yeah,
we're
fair.
in the future.
Fair.
We're in the
That's
future.
true. We are here in the future. That's true.
Cooler here. Ugh. I don't know if I could get past the mental hurdle of being like that thing that I just crunched was not fried thing. It was like an exoskeleton.
Yeah,
not
I mean,
great.
if you can get over it, yeah, they're not too bad.
I'm sure. My
It's
turtle,
fine.
we ate them all the time and loved them.
What a
Flavor
cool-
blasted. Incredible.
You can flavor blast a lot of things.
Oh, I flavor blast everything most
you,
nights.
You can flavor blast whatever, a whole lot of things you don't even think about. It's pretty good.
Let's talk about the VR internet for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of my favorite things from future movies where they're like, let's figure out what the internet is now.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it's always so impractical.
Yeah.
But to me, it always seems better regardless. I'm like,
Yes.
I just want to fly around. I want to be in it. I think we should call it the metaverse. We should fly around it. We should.
Did you just make that up?
I did. I
Wow.
coined
Oh,
it.
you.
Wow.
It's
you.
Gibson,
Wow.
Dick, Reinish.
Wow.
Wow.
Metaverse.
Okay, cool. Good for you.
Yeah. So all the stuff that we have said that Johnny does
Yeah.
is not something you can do on the future internet, or they don't trust it. I guess maybe that is their escape.
The internet feels locked off in this world. Like, it doesn't feel like everyone has access to it.
Yeah, you have to like get into a headset and
Yeah.
put on your power gloves and
The power gloves are
and
cool.
fucking
Yeah.
Why is everything the visions of the future? It's moving stuff around
I
with
love
your
that
hands.
shit. It's my
Like,
favorite.
That still doesn't
I
happen.
love-
We
I
don't
love it.
have that.
I love it.
have an Oculus Quest or a
Well,
Meta Quest.
we're
or
waiting
whatever.
for someone to actually make that internet.
Give me the
It'll
gloves.
happen. I want to hack with my hands.
I want to hack with my hands.
Why?
I'm a hand hacker.
Come on.
There's not something now we can be like, it's like the future 2015 web browser where you can hook regular internet into it, but you can fly through it.
Well,
like,
I
it's
want
kind of
it.
different.
I mean, this is the thing. Like, it's basically these types of movies, and then Futurama. I want that internet where I want inefficient internet where I have to fly through a 3D space and interact with it in very deliberate ways. That sounds very appealing to me, which is obviously what Zuckerberg is failing to do, because he was like, you know what? People would like a version of this to look like Nintendo Mii's for some reason. He was like,
I think
we should do the cutesy version.
So disappointing.
We want it to be Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, he failed in that he's
Obviously.
like,
I'm a god.
the figurehead of it is my face, which already looks like this in real life.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Obviously.
I like, because it's like with Amazon and companies taking shopping away from a physical space.
Yeah.
There was something appealing to me about being able to walk through something that you're not necessarily looking at or being served up.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, what's that over there? I'm going to go look at that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I used to watch way more stuff before I had the ability to watch whatever I wanted at any given time.
Yeah.
You know,
But now
agree
it's
with
just
that.
like there's nothing to watch because there's everything to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's
100%.
information overload, saturation. It's almost like,
you have too much data in your
you're
head.
suffering from NAS.
Yeah.
You got the black
You
shakes,
got the
bud.
black shakes, Joey.
Oh no, I'm asymptomatic though so far, so that's pretty good.
That's
That's good.
But yeah, I want internet that like happens to me.
Well,
Like,
internet that's like deliberate, right?
Yeah.
That you can't really just haphazardly just type in whatever you want. It's kind of what you're saying. Like you kind of, there's something appealing about having to work for it just a little bit instead of just being able to type in whatever you want and getting the answer instantly. Like even if I have to fake walk to like the browser building.
I mean,
like,
I have a VR thing. I had like one of the first VR things, and it's even itself kind of outdated right now. But I flew around in Google Earth, which is kind of like what I would equate this to.
Yeah.
It's not like great, but if those were all like different websites where that building is reddit.com, and I go inside the
Don't go in there.
No, I'm gonna go in there.
Don't go
Those
in
are the places I'm gonna go.
Don't go in there. Don't go in there.
You go in there though, and it's like this impossibly high skyscraper where every floor is like a different flavor of disgusting weird stuff.
So
yeah.
And
it
would just be so cool because you would find so many things that
you go to the Pornhub building. Behind each door is a different category.
Don't go in the building. What is happening, you guys?
What?
Have you learned nothing from Johnny Mnemonic?
we get all this future technology so we can find
just-
grosser stuff easier.
Yes. I can physically be here with the gross stuff and others like me
Yeah.
who also like to engage in gross.
Yeah.
Where we can look at each other and be like,
Nice.
yeah, you.
I don't know. We're building community here. I don't know what your problem is.
Or it'd be like, or like in the Oculus, like if you go into the big screen app, you can high five people and you get haptic feedback with.
I
your
don't like that.
controllers.
Oh, that's
it's
weird.
great. It actually got us through a group of us. It got us through the pandemic.
Oh,
That's
cool.
nice.
We'd like get together, but back when people were like, you can't ever see anybody
Yes.
ever again.
Absolutely.
You did like movie viewings or something with
Yeah.
people. Oh, that's awesome.
Big screen is I mean, you know, I get nothing out of this. It's just big screen is the best app because it feels like you're in a real movie theater full of a bunch of cartoon people.
That's
and
pretty
you
cool.
can hear each other like talk. As,
So and you know you can customize your avatar. Like some people kind of look like themselves.
Oh,
and,
that's cool.
But it's like
then one of
hanging
you
out.
is a dragon.
and Sonic with a huge dick.
Yeah. Wow. We did. There
Chris,
was,
why were you Sonic with a huge
Well,
dick?
why are you Sonic hogging out?
there is this app called fuck, I can't remember, VR chat.
Chat
maybe?
VR, yeah.
Yeah, and there were these, you could like mod you could turn into like whatever.
Yeah.
And there was a video of this happening because somebody screen recorded it.
Yeah.
Of we all were Peter Griffin, and we were like going into places and just going, "Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?" And everybody was just going, "Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?" Like everybody, and it like people they were like crawling around because you could like get your avatar to crawl around.
I hate this.
And there's video like where people are like high and drunk, in their own homes or
Of
whatever.
course, yes.
And there's video like I'm in the middle and they're like, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? They're like bowing down to me. It's unhinged.
But you know what? I think giving people the freedom to do that weird shit in VR would save a lot of stuff outside of it because it's like a safe way to
more
do
shootings.
weird shit.
Yeah, it
We're
saves
done.
lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more serial killers.
Yeah.
No more people being Peter Griffin in public.
Thank
Oh.
God.
You know? I've never been able to do the group VR thing. But I
Yeah.
could see how that, like, especially during pandemic, that would be
Yeah,
rad.
It
that
was
would have
great.
been cool.
Because like we do like a Zoom thing where we
Yeah.
watch something. And
It
that's-
would be cool if we all would have had VR
headset
to watch
where-
movies.
Because I
That'd
would
be
just like
fun.
walk over and just like crouch in like front of someone. and
Yeah.
go,
Hey, how are you?
You know what? Now I'm thinking no. That's
it only took
actually.
10 seconds for you to
It's all
convince me.
like, yeah, for your friends that maybe treat it like a normal thing somewhat. Well, actually, no, obviously not. All right. Anyway, we're all friends with dickheads. It just
It can be
depends.
used for good and it can
It's
be
just
used
that
for
Joey
ill.
would immediately be a dick in the fake movie theater.
just me going,
Is this like MST3K? Is this fun for you?
Kyle, look, I'm Johnny Mnemonic.
Uh,
Load my head.
want a hooker?
$10,000 hooker, put it in my head. I would
God.
love to fly around fake internet. And
I want it so bad.
and I don't feel like it's so efficient now that adding all this tech on top of it doesn't do anything that would make it markedly better other
No.
than like making it more fun.
Well, it
to
makes you
interact
feel
with.
cooler.
Oh yeah.
My only issue is, and this is obviously, we're never going to have Futurama internet or the internet like we want it to be, this 3D space. And I don't mean that we won't have it. I think that maybe we'll have a version of that at some point. But the problem is that then you're going to get into cyberspace reality, which is already sort of a
that's
thing.
a thing. No,
And
that's a
now
thing.
it'll be like you just know that's where it's gonna go. Where
Yeah,
it'll be
I
like,
can't afford to live in the virtual space either.
yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
cool. I'm priced out.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All the mom
Awesome.
and pop shops are pushed out of the internet because
I
they
guess
can't
I'm going to
afford
go
rent.
back to the Pornhub building.
Open random doors.
I can't
Drown my
afford-
sorrows in
Can't afford to
filth.
rent a space in the OnlyFans warehouse.
I imagine
Bummer.
I imagine the Pornhub building in the future VR
Yes.
is every room looks the same size, but you
Yeah.
open every door and it's like a House of Leaves situation
Yeah.
where it's like this room's probably really small, and you open it and it's like the size of an entire continent
Yeah.
full of other people who are into the same thing.
I also think, I imagine roaming the halls of the Pornhub building, and if you're doing the free version of it, you just have to like Juggernaut run through a bunch of pop-up ads to get to the door that you want to.
But even that would be kind of fun. You just, like,
No, I think it's great. I actually, that would make pop-ups way more fun.
Yeah, you gotta
Except for
punch
when
them.
you accidentally touch it in the wrong place, and then it transports you to some other building you don't want to be in. The tentacle building.
well, the
No,
only
I hit the X.
No,
I hit the X.
actually I was trying to touch the boob, and then the button zoomed over to the boob, and I touched it.
To quote another, you get like Constantine pulled through the Pornhub building to Tentacle Lagoon.
And then you immediately vomit.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I could think during
Oh no, honey, I threw up on my crotch again.
during those or the internet sequences where Johnny's flying through all this shit,
Which,
it was
by the way, when they finally show his 3D avatar body, it's hilarious.
yeah, it kind of looks like a Legion, like
his-
old school Legion.
It does look
tall
like Legion.
head.
Yes, it looks like he's been smushed and stretched. It's great,
It's just barely better than Lawnmower Man,
just barely,
Just barely.
hardly.
but you would be vomiting all the time if you had to zoom through internet like that. Like either that or augments in the future. They figured out
Oh, it's it's awful.
when you get sick.
Yes,
It's
In
happened to me
VR
one
space.
time. Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking. It's
Take a Dramamine.
it's something. I think it's something like 1/3 of people, or there's a statistic that as soon as the virtual camera is moving and
And you're
you
not.
aren't,
Oh.
it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Is
that's why
that-
they do the teleports for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if that's why it will maybe potentially never truly catch on with everyone when that
think
large
so,
of
yeah.
the population
Yeah.
just will get sick.
Like, can you
immediately.
imagine if 1/3 of people turned on the television? They were like, "Oh, I can't!" Like, there wouldn't be television. There'd still be television.
Yeah, there'd still be TV, but
I wish it's the only problem because it's not that jarring if you're doing it and you're teleporting around. It's the interacting with a bunch of people who are teleporting around. It doesn't like track with a normal social experience.
Right.
yeah,
And to fix that, you would have to have your guy walk to a spot, and as soon as you start to walk towards a spot, you just like get hot. Like I don't feel good. I played one game one time
yeah.
where the entire point of the game is you were jumping from like rooftop to rooftop,
Okay, that
Like-
sounds terrible.
huge matrix jumps,
Yeah.
like through the sky and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had never been sick. And then my head just started getting really hot.
Yeah.
And then I felt like I had been on like something that had spun around too fast.
Oh.
And it's only happened to me one time. I never
Yeah.
played that game again.
Yeah.
No.
But most things
Yeah.
do the teleporting or whatever. And I was like, oh no, I'm fine. I don't get sick on that stuff. But ugh.
Uh,
So anyway, I wouldn't expect to see future internet.
No.
no, not
Anytime
anytime soon.
But the Sogo data gloves, I feel like those are definitely something that could be implemented
The
with
Sogo
current VR.
7s.
Sogo 7s.
I'd like to go ahead.
I was just gonna say when they gear up for that sequence, once again, a future whiff where they don't call it a visor, they call them iPhones.
Yes, the Thompson
yeah,
iPhone. I wrote that
instead
down.
of-
iPhones.
Yes.
Did
were
they
like
invent the
earphones.
iPhone?
No, I think they mean it like earphones.
I think
But
you're
they're
right.
iPhones.
They're iPhones.
Accident. I
Big
wouldn't
I
call that
wrote
a
that
whiff.
down.
Big whiff.
Speaking of whiffs, like, what is it with future movies and like Burning Man chic? So many
They love that shit.
goggles, like
Yeah.
senseless goggles,
Absolutely.
and face paint.
Yep.
Why?
'Cause you
Why
never
are
kn-
those guys dressed
It's
like
just how
Mr. Mephistopheles from fucking?
These guys especially do they do look like
Well,
they're
They
from
look
Cats.
ridiculous.
They very much do. Ice-T looks like he just got out of a production.
This
Yes.
was like what we were talking about in Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
Where I can't tell if some of that stuff was meant to track as like enhancements.
Yeah.
And it's too clear now. And
Enhance.
It's
Yeah.
just makeup.
Enhance.
Yeah,
But is that supposed to be like circuitry?
Oh,
Mm.
No.
Back to the Future 2, I think it is supposed to be circuitry. In this, I think it's like war paint.
Talking
They're
about,
tribal.
needles
They're
in
meant
his
to
gang.
be. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think that's supposed to be circuitry in Back to the Future 2. But I don't know. This is where I think you feel the influence of Albert Pune. A man that has made 1 billion post-apocalyptic movies. He made like half the canon films. Not
Yeah.
really, but like a lot of them. But most of the canon of post-apocalyptic movies just look like Ice-T and the Low-Techs, but they usually didn't have enough money to shoot inside. So it would be like a warehouse, like
Yeah.
beyond Palm Springs that they
Right.
could blow up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But everyone in those futures looks exactly like the Low-Techs. I don't know why.
You gotta be an individual, I guess.
But why can't you
Like,
have
even more
style?
so?
Individual.
Yeah.
Why can't you have style and be an individual? Why do you have to look like that?
Look, I don't know, you stupid low tech.
I was gonna say, speaking of the
Fellas, come on.
that's so rude.
Fucking install something, why don't you?
It's along the same lines of my favorite detail in this, which is apparently from the books, multiple books in William Gibson's thing, is that most of this movie takes place in the free city of Newark, New Jersey, which is such a random pull.
That made me laugh.
But it's like it's also very confusing because like it's clearly I understand why the low techs are there because it's supposed to be I guess
shithole?
a free shithole.
Yeah.
But then I think that a bunch of the corporations are also located there because the Pharmacom headquarters is there.
I thought that was in New York or something.
No,
Like,
I think it's still in Newark.
The Pharmacom building. Have you guys ever watched Max Headroom?
Yes.
The Pharmacom building, for whatever reason, reminded me of the Network 23 building.
Okay,
the way
yes.
it was shot. Probably
Yeah.
also because maybe it was a miniature or
It
whatever.
might be the
but,
same
like,
model, just
yeah,
with a different
it could-
sign.
It definitely could be.
Yeah.
By the way, if you guys ever do the Max Headroom TV movie, the British TV movie, I'm in.
was Max Headroom like a
really inviting myself back to this podcast.
A lot of
Yeah.
time. Is he an AI, or is it somebody controlling Max Headroom?
No, he's like an existing AI. Or was he a person uploaded?
So what had happened was
Okay, in canon.
is that Edison Carter, famed reporter Edison Carter,
Of course, yes.
they tried to assassinate him,
Mhm.
and Bryce, the spunky upstart
Yep.
teenage employee scientist computer whiz at the Network 23,
Normal 80s shit.
basically took his consciousness and uploaded it, and then the consciousness got loose, and so it's kind of like an AI, but it is also him, but it is sentient and separate from Edison and has its own distinct personality.
That's fun. Why is that not
Max
a thing?
Headroom is fucking great.
You understand that? Did you know that
Until they ran out of money, that series was.
They're
I
rebooting
know,
it.
Chris
Yeah.
Cantwell's
I
doing
know.
it.
Yeah,
From,
that's kind of exciting.
from,
Halt and Catch Fire.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty cool.
that's
It might
fun.
be really dope.
Yeah,
I bet he
I
has
say
a
that's-
very weird
yeah.
take on it.
Look, I think that it's in good hands. Cantwell's the shit.
Yeah,
He's
that's
very
cool.
good.
So if you're in this Johnny Mnemonic future,
Yeah.
what's something you'd bring back with you? Because I think asking if any of us would want to live in this future is a softball.
I don't think I could live in this one. I think this one sucks pretty bad.
But what would you take? If you could take a thing back with you.
You mean besides the black shakes?
Yeah, we already got those.
By the way, a big reason I would not want to live in this future, because it's like we've done a pandemic. I'm not going to step into another one that seemingly there's no way to not get it.
Yeah.
Like if you don't get it,
Right.
it's just absolute random shit.
Right.
Like,
But there's a cure that just got out.
yeah, that's cool.
For now, but then there's
For
gonna be some
now.
new shit.
Till the
that
next Black Shakes.
Yeah.
the
Black Shakes
corporations
2.0.
trying to fuck with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real. That's a real easy one for me.
Oh,
Which
please.
is?
Yeah.
That's laser floss.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. I definitely want laser floss.
Would you want it as a thumb or would you like it as a different delivery system?
Like a floss
think-
box.
It's okay. I've always wanted to be able to shoot electricity out of my hands, like the
Totally.
Emperor,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally
Emperor
normal.
Palpatine.
Yes.
for those who are unfamiliar with.
Somehow
the,
he returned. Did you know that?
I think we're gonna find out how
I don't want to.
in painstaking detail across the Filoni-verse.
I don't want it.
Tubes?
Tubes. Clones.
Fallopian?
Oh, Filonian
Oh.
tubes.
Oh,
I like what you
God.
did there. Great.
I don't know anything about Star Wars.
Jesus
Mando.
Christ.
Some rough times this season on The Mandalorian.
Yeah. A lot of fetch missions. Anyway.
Are you caught up on The
Yeah,
Mandalorian?
it's wild.
The-
We could talk about it off. I don't want to shit talk a giant conglomerate that might hire me one day.
We're not going to shit talk, Kyle. What the fuck?
we're not shit talking. We love it.
We love it. It's great.
We love it.
So, Chris.
yeah, laser floss definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me that laser
But shooting
floss.
from your fingers.
Yeah, I think I would probably go.
Like you could
Index?
detach
I
your
would
top
go.
knuckle.
I would go
Oh, detach of the knuckle.
index. Detachable knuckle.
Yeah,
But like all four of them.
That. Ooh.
Yeah, you can have more than one.
Oh,
Improve
like
upon
Spider-Man.
it. Yeah.
Like,
Except you can't latch onto anything. You just cut
just
through.
destroy
Yeah.
it.
And the
Damn it.
The first time you do it, one pings off a wall and cuts your face off.
I mean,
I would die.
the
Yeah.
problem, the only drawback with it being on your fingers, and I'm sorry, Mom,
Yeah.
but the first time
Yeah.
you're getting intimate
Yes.
with
Finger blasting
with a
someone.
woman. Yes,
Yeah, you can just say that.
literally, and that's terrible.
Yeah.
that would be
you
bad.
have to have a safety latch.
My apologies.
You'd
Yeah.
have to have a
Your
safety
safety's
latch.
on.
My
Yeah.
apologies.
Which is
You'd
your
have
dick.
to have it. Jesus.
If Dick is engaged, safety's on.
The safety's on. Yeah. You just have it. You wire it correctly. That's
Yeah.
what you do.
Don't go to Spider.
I obviously would
Go to
bring
a real
back.
doctor.
I obviously would bring back in 3D internet.
3D
I
internet.
must
okay.
have it.
Yeah.
I must have it.
It's
I
pretty
love
good.
the gear. I love the gloves. I want the iPhones. I love it so much. It's good shit. I want it.
Mine is unorthodox because as much as I would love to store my important shit in my own head,
No, that sucks. Also,
You know,
well,
we already do that. I don't know if you know.
I
this.
did
oh
like-
no, I got nothing.
I did
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. I
Fair
did
enough.
like that he
You
had to
gotta
lose.
get that
I did like that he had to lose his memories to make room.
That was interesting.
I think that's an interesting take.
Or did he? Or what?
It doesn't make
Was
sense
he-
why he would have to, but it's
Was
cool that he
having
had to.
8mm home movie memories?
I guess
Which
so.
does that even track to like the generation now, the 2021 generation?
No.
because their home movies are video.
Yeah.
Actually, like DV, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
mini
Though,
DV.
I do think there's a thing now where especially Gen Z and the younger people are very much getting into
That aesthetic.
pre-digital stuff. So like that's
Yes.
why VHS is having a huge resurgence.
Audio
a lot
cassettes.
That's
Yeah.
why everyone's obsessed with the Polaroids and everything.
I love Polaroid.
It's the
I don't
best.
know, I don't know if you guys. I get those targeted ads from Amazon
Yeah.
that are like they couldn't be more of a misfire.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I don't know what they think I'm doing, but
Yeah.
but I get the like VHS, like a VCR DVD combo,
Oh.
and they're like $800.
Yeah,
They're
it's
not-
crazy.
They're not cheap.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I have a VCR, thankfully.
Yeah,
me
Question
too.
mark.
Yeah. I get ads
Laser
for anal lube that you can buy at Target and human-sized dog beds.
Oh.
That sounds dope.
So what I'm
Together?
saying, what I'm
Together
saying
at the same
is
time?
the algorithm works.
Is
Clearly.
are you saying that? And then if you go
I'm just
there, are
saying
they
if
like,
we scroll
people
through my
also
Instagram,
buy. People also
Yeah.
buy.
it's nice that it's available at Target. That means
Yeah,
I can get
it's
it.
simple.
I trust him.
I thought, you know what? There's one other thing I might bring back from this future,
What?
which is that the heavy metal opera music.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a fusion that never happened.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think it's
dope.
time.
It's good. I mean,
This
Fifth
was-
Element does it too.
Oh, I guess they do.
It's pretty. It's not quite heavy metal though. In
But
Fifth
that's a
But when is
blue
the
lady.
fifth metal? The fifth metal. The fifth element.
When is the Fifth Element? I think the Fifth Element is way.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
the
that's what I
future.
thought.
Yeah.
So we can't even talk about that.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. What
I-
would you take?
Mine
Joey?
is a softball because I think it feels like something we should have but don't.
Okay.
And it's in many movies and plays a pivotal role in 2 sequences of this movie.
Tiny disc.
No.
AT&T?
It's the
I think AT&T was.
it's the thing that you launch at a thing up above you and then it pulls you up.
Oh, grappling hook gun.
Oh, yeah.
That feels like
Yeah.
something that should exist.
Yeah.
But
the
I'm like,
bat hook
Yeah.
or whatever. The
Yeah.
bat grappling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Batman has that.
Yeah.
which is
Well, why?
fiction.
And why? Hey, idiot.
Joey, Batman has
Batman
that.
has
actually.
that.
Point of order. Batman has it.
But just like being able to launch one single little thing up above you and it raise you up. Like
This is how. Listen,
God.
guys, we're fucked up. Like that's like a. We're such movie idiots. We were.
but it feels like something that by now like technically should
Absolutely, it should be
exist.
available.
And I feel like
Yeah.
you could do some cool shit with that.
Yeah,
But
like get up high.
Yeah. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah,
Boom.
I think you could do one thing with it for sure. You can get high.
Holy shit! The cast of Cats is here. I gotta get the fuck out of this
I gotta
alley
leave
now.
think of how much up high you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could instead of seeing the Shacktober
Shacktober.
billboard from
We could be
afar,
by 'em.
I could be on it and near it.
Shacktober. Incredible. Why are those still up?
They finally got rid of one of
happened
ours.
to billboards?
I
Is
don't
the
know.
inventory low? Like, what is happening?
I think we could buy one cheap.
I think it's because
but
every time
We
you
maybe.
I think we could.
I saw a billboard for a book. Who's
The Bible?
What?
Why
no,
is
no, just like now published.
Oh.
Some book.
Tommy Wiseau famously had the
Well,
Room
yeah.
billboard
I
up
mean,
forever.
He also made the Room
Yeah,
mysteriously with money somehow.
yeah,
from-
he is like some.
I think the
I don't know.
Shacktobers
A
are all still
murderer.
up because every time you take down a Shacktober billboard, you have to defeat him. So
Yeah.
he probably
Yeah,
is tough.
yeah.
Some lawyers apparently did on a Van Owen down the road. Finally beat him.
Do you think did Shaquille O'Neal make a bunch of really bad investments and that's what he
No,
just
I
needs
think he
money
made
so
no.
badly
I
that
think he made a
Shacktober-
bunch of amazing investments,
But why
and
is
then
he in,
it all came to a crescendo to Shacktober.
Yeah, where
it
the-
goes General Papa
Yeah,
John
the general,
Shacktober.
the general is the one where with CG that
Yeah.
is straight out of Johnny Mnemonic. The general and Shaq.
General lives in the Johnny
my
Mnemonic VR
God.
internet for sure.
Wait, did we crack the code? Is this movie A prequel to the General?
The General, yeah. To get the General in the VR internet, you find a tank. You knock on it. The General pops out. He's like, yeah, I'll insure you. By the way, once again, fun fact that I've pointed out on other podcasts, but my dad's favorite fun fact is like, Shaq uses the General. He said he uses the General. I was like, no fucking way does Shaq use the General. What are you talking about?
So grappling hooks.
Yeah, no, that's fucking great. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really
You get
good
so
one.
high.
It gets up so much higher. And the amount of times you could pop it when you just want to leave a situation.
It would be amazing grand exit at any given moment.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
And then you're just up at the ceiling.
Joey's still up there.
You're just up
Hey.
at the ceiling and like pretending like you're not here.
Hey, can you guys help me get down? Do you have a ladder, like even a steps?
The problem is that this doesn't lower. It only shoots up.
I can't go higher than
Guys,
I am right now.
Call the fire department. Fuck.
well, thanks for putting a hole in my ceiling.
Look,
That's the funniest
Not
version.
cool.
Is we're here and I'm like, okay, podcast's over. Just shoots through the roof. I don't get to go up at all. I've just punched a hole in
Is
your
that
shit.
blood on the ceiling?
well,
Yeah.
let's-
Yeah.
that's people before us, so don't worry about that.
Fair
But
enough.
Think
a lot
of,
of tarps in this.
think of all the holes that would be above Kyle's chair by
Yep.
this point. All right, see you next
All
episode.
it takes is a couple beers to forget that I already shot a hole in your ceiling.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Maybe that's what happened to Robert Longo. He just grappling hooked out of existence.
He was like, I'm taking one of these from the prop department, and
Late.
it did not work.
This is our version of I have to go. My planet needs me or whatever.
God, Longo. We
Uh,
could have gotten him.
You know
I
what?
think.
One more thing I would actually I would bring back
Okay.
is just the over reliance on fax machines. I think
It
I
is
think
fun
the time has come for like the fax resurgence.
hard copy.
to come back.
Yeah, like if VHS is coming back,
Yeah, we can do
if
facts.
audio cassettes are coming back,
Yeah.
give me that fax.
yeah, fuck them trees.
I want like a truly terrible thermal print that
Yeah.
rolls out of a very low resolution image.
Yeah.
Do you know what's crazy?
There
is
are
I-
still fax machines,
Yes.
by the way.
Well, I was
And you
gonna-
have to fax things
Well, like,
sometimes.
yeah.
I was an assistant for a long time on a show that was run by older gentlemen, and I fax shit for them all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's awful.
That's like, even then it was like, do you guys have a fax machine? Can I
Yeah.
even, they'd be like, fax this. I'd be like, I got to call the place first because I don't even know if you can.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are talking
We don't
about.
have the technology.
We cannot do that.
Was that maybe they didn't know you could make stuff into a file.
I wasn't going to explain
like
to them how
once
that works.
we have email where you can send a picture,
Yeah.
there should never be a fax machine
Well,
ever.
I
again.
don't know. I was a post. Joey was too. I was a post PA in the tail end of the DVD era. People were literally getting pics, digital files, and they were still like, yeah. But like
A
3
disc.
a.m. on a Friday, throw a DVD at my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, all right, cool, Zucker.
And next time you come over, the one that you did at 3 a.m. will still be there.
Yeah.
Yep,
In a
that's
weird
fine.
box outside my house. Don't ever come in my house.
Don't knock
off
on
my
the
property.
door. Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
just,
I had to deliver those all the time.
it was terrible.
Yeah.
I would just throw them at people. I literally was like, there was no, like, literally went to the president of NBC's house. It's 3 a.m. on a Friday. I can't do
Must be
shit.
lonely.
I can't get to his home, but I can reach through his front gate and go like a 2-finger flip.
Like
and it would-
Zorro? You look like
yeah,
Zorro.
And like,
Should've used
honestly,
your laser
I gotta
floss.
be perfectly honest. I got pretty accurate. It would land, I would say I had a 50-50. It would land on his porch and you'd be able to find it. But I would say the other half, his landscapers saw a lot of early cuts of Grimm, like season 1. Because it would just go straight in the bush.
Should you just gambit off into the bush?
Yeah, gambit it into it. I don't know. Fuck him. Get a easier house.
I'm sure it's his concern.
Yeah,
Definitely watched one of those.
Well, he should be concerned because I'm coming to his house at 3 a.m. and
That's-
I'm not happy.
Well,
Is
thank
there-
you.
Is there a part of the show where we talk about things we're disappointed that we don't have?
I mean,
That's
we
the
can
whole
talk
show.
about that
I
now.
guess that's true, but like I think my biggest takeaway from this
Yeah.
is like I'm disappointed with like lack of like neural and biological implants that are available to us.
Would you get one though?
I wouldn't go all the way Dolph Lundgren style, but
No.
I feel like I'd like some help with my memory, or
Yeah.
I'd like some help with like my back. Like I fucked my back up when I was in high school. Like I'd like
Back
to be
stuff
able to
would be
like,
cool.
Like
Yeah.
Here's a mental exercise for you. Ready?
an exercise. Shouldn't have said that.
Name one company you would trust to put something in you.
AT&T.
They put a phone card right in my wrist. It pops out.
AT&T back.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Once
Back
again,
to-
also a great future thing is that everything's a video call. And like
Yes!
that's the assumption. And like we
Yes!
have that technology now, and it's like actually we would like to never see each other's faces.
No way,
Ideally.
like
Yeah.
only my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like if somebody aggressively FaceTimes me, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm absolutely not picking this
Oh,
up.
if someone aggressively
Don't just
FaceTimes me, I'm like,
rando
someone's
FaceTime?
dead.
Yeah.
And they're trying to tell me face to face.
Or they need help diffusing a bomb or something.
I'm not the man to call
yeah,
for this.
this was a mistake. You
Oh
should
no,
FaceTime
you're
somebody
saying
else.
goodbye.
Someone's FaceTiming me. I need to block this number.
Yeah.
I gotta
Exactly.
block
I hate
this.
this.
Sorry, mom.
Yeah. And let's not forget that most of the video calls in this movie, Udo
Yeah.
Kier was on the other end of it, which is
And-
really upsetting.
And what a
anyway.
present.
What a present.
What a present.
That little tongue flip, definitely him.
God, I love him so much. What a creep. He's in the Pornhub building.
Oh yeah.
He lives there.
He's the mascot. Chris and I watched a movie featuring lots of Udo.
Oh,
Back in our previous podcast.
Flesh for Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Definitely check out the Criterionauts.
Yeah, where you can fuck him in the gallbladder.
Jesus.
And let us know if you want more Criterionauts. Might be coming back.
Yeah, Chris and I are gonna powwow after this.
yeah, go for
I don't
it.
think we're allowed to say powwow anymore.
Chris and I are gonna talk after this.
Well, I think you
I don't
can
think
you
say talk. Okay.
I don't think you say talk after this. Damn.
Well, I think that's a show.
That feels good.
Yeah. Find us on all the stuff. What is the stuff we have?
Wow, that was great.
We have
Thank you. Hey, we're still
You can
figuring
find-
it out.
You can find us on social media under Yes Tom Today. That is on Twitter, if that's still around, Instagram and TikTok, because I guess we're gonna do some TikTok stuff.
Kyle's
I
gonna
don't
do
know.
Nice.
TikTok.
I've
yeah.
said it. I mean, I keep
TikTok.
saying it at the end of shows, so I guess we fucking have to.
Yeah.
And of course, you can go to patreon.com/YesTomToday. Join us for a low fee. Honestly, the Patreon isn't really even for us to make money. It's more just like gauging if people like it enough for us to make more.
Yeah.
So if you like it, join the Patreon for a low amount, and then we will do more of these eventually.
Because it's impossible to find out how many people listen to a podcast, it turns out.
I don't know how people get numbers. They're lying.
Probably.
I think mostly it's lies.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Do
Yeah.
I get to plug also?
Yeah.
of course.
You
have
go to
one.
my OnlyFans. It's onlyfans.com
Fuck off.
/yes Tom tomorrow. And
It's just me talking, but
yeah, yeah.
you gotta
it's-
pay for
it's-
it.
There's little to no nudity, but you know what? We'll see what happens.
Well-
At Chris McCaleb on Instagram.
Well, you just need to
I'm
join
only on
it.
Instagram, really, and Twitter. I guess.
It's really just a gauge if you're interested in him making more.
yeah.
He's not
Are
trying
you
to make money.
interested in me, please?
Please.
Please look at my body. I need your validation, please.
No comments, though.
These are my
No
feet.
comments. Comments are too.
You like my feet? Please like my feet.
I would watch a video of you weeping and asking people
to watch my feet. It's just a it's a
my feet.
it's a POV shot of his feet, and you can see the shaking as he's weeping.
that's good.
I mean, that's someone's fetish.
But that's like an if Andy Kaufman were alive still, he would be doing
the problem is you do that, you make so much money.
Yeah, then you're locked in.
Wait.
Yeah, then you're locked
You
into
think so?
only. Yeah, I think so.
Wait,
I
what?
think so. Oh no, do I have to make
we're
this?
joking around, but what?
Yeah,
Seriously?
I think so.
I'd like to.
All you need
Make
is 100
money someday.
pervs to really like that one thing,
Yeah, you find that one
and
person
you're the only person giving it.
weeping and looking at your own feet.
Yep.
Look at them. Beautiful. I hate them. Why do we have feet?
Talking shit about them.
I hate them. Why are they necessary? I don't want to walk.
Well, thank you, Chris. Good luck with your burgeoning OnlyFans
Thanks
business.
so much. Yaz, Tom, tomorrow.
Damn it. This has been Yesterday's Tomorrow Today. I've been Joey
That was
Reinish.
a comic bag.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks for having me. This is really fun.
It was fun. We'll see you all next time.
Goodbye.